Attention! Attention!
Good morning, everyone. My name is James Bold, lead news anchor and reporter for First Coast Weather and News. Today we have a tried-and-true Floridian story to discuss. What's more Floridian than thunderstorms? Well, other than Publix and alligators. Today, the Storm Prediction Center has issued a slight risk for the First Coast region of Florida. For those of you who don't know, to put it simply, the meteorologists at the Storm Prediction Center feel that there is a somewhat decent risk for severe thunderstorms today. The main risks seem to be frequent lightning, wind gusts in excess of 60 miles per hour, and the potential for large hail. Nothing we haven't dealt with here before. But even if things do go south, me and my crew will be here to cover whatever arises. Just as a reminder, be sure to frequently check the weather forecast for your area. Thunderstorms may develop quickly today, leading to little time to prepare. For more information on today's severe weather threat, feel free to consult the National Weather Service office in Jacksonville through their webpage. For our next story, ocean waters are reaching record temperatures around the Floridian Peninsula.
You're listening to NOAA Weather Radio, the voice of the National Weather Service. Your current time is 7 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Here is your hazardous weather outlook. The Storm Prediction Center has outlined the First Coast region in the slight risk category for severe thunderstorms today. Main threats include, but are not limited to, wind gusts in excess of 75 miles per hour, hail in excess of 2 inches in diameter, and a 2% chance for tornadoes. In addition to severe weather, the Weather Prediction Center has issued a marginal risk for flooding, as forecast models indicate a general slow storm motion pattern throughout the day today. There are 2 rounds of thunderstorms expected today, one which will take place mostly along the coastal regions of our viewing area during the morning hours. The second round is expected to be more volatile due to daytime heating, and slow-moving storms are likely. Most of northeast Florida and southeastern Georgia can expect to see precipitation at some point throughout the day today. Here are your local conditions from around the area. In Jacksonville, it is 82 degrees and partly cloudy. The National Weather Service in Jacksonville has issued a special marine warning for coastal waters from Altamaha Sound to Fernandina Beach out 20 nautical miles. Coastal waters from Fernandina Beach to St. Augustine out 20 nautical miles. Coastal waters from St. Augustine to Flagler Beach out 20 nautical miles. Waters from Fernandina Beach to St. Augustine from 20 to 60 nautical miles. Waters from St. Augustine to Flagler Beach from 20 to 60 nautical miles until 9 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. At 8 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time, a severe thunderstorm capable of producing waterspouts was located 13 nautical miles east of Jacksonville Beach, or 25 nautical miles north of St. Augustine, moving northwest at 25 knots. Hazard waterspouts and wind gusts 34 knots or greater. Source radar. Impact waterspouts can easily overturn boats and create locally hazardous seas. Small craft could be damaged in briefly. Higher winds and suddenly higher waves. Locations impacted include Atlantic Beach, Dorothy Louise Barge, Casablanca Reef, Mayport, Nassau Sound Approach Buoy 6, Anna Reef, Amelia City, Jacksonville Beach, Talbot Island, St. John's Lighted Buoy, Dungeness, St. Mary's Entrance Buoy 16, Navy Drydock, Whitaker Snapper Hole Reef, and Palm Valley. Move to safe harbor immediately as gusty winds and high waves are expected. If your vessel is caught offshore, immediately secure for heavy weather. Ensure all crew members are wearing USCG-approved Type 1 life jackets and non-essential crew are below decks. Deploy jack lines and harnesses if available. Check life-saving equipment, including batteries on handheld radios. For readiness, thunderstorms can produce sudden waterspouts. Waterspouts can easily overturn boats and create locally hazardous seas. Seek safe harbor immediately. If your vessel is caught offshore, immediately secure for heavy weather. Repeating, a special marine warning has been issued for coastal waters of Duval, St. Johns, Flagler, and Nassau counties until 9 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time.
Good morning, everyone. My name is James Bold, lead meteorologist and news anchor for First Coast Weather and News. Looks like today we're going to be putting those meteorology skills to the test as we're tracking a dangerous thunderstorm out over the Atlantic waters. Around 20 minutes ago, National Weather Service Jacksonville issued a special marine warning for a storm approaching the Florida coastline. Up on screen now is the radar imagery as of 8 a.m. Many people don't pay attention to special marine warnings, especially if they live more inland, but the National Weather Service is taking this storm pretty seriously. In the warning, the threats stated include, quote, waterspouts and wind gusts 34 knots or greater. While the National Weather Service has not confirmed any waterspouts yet, velocity radar has indicated potential rotating winds within the storm. Granted, these winds are at least a good few thousand feet above the surface still, but you never know when a funnel cloud can drop. You can almost see the rotation of the storm on reflectivity radar. While it is hard to say if this storm will actually produce a waterspout or tornado, we need to remain vigilant. With the trajectory and speed the storm is moving, it will likely make landfall in coastal Duval within the next hour or so. But hey, we'll be here tracking it every step of the way. Taking a quick break from the weather, in local news, the Jacksonville Landing is getting a new extension in 2023.
The following message is being transmitted at the request of the National Weather Service office in Jacksonville, Florida. A tornado warning has been issued for extreme coastal Duval County, active immediately and until 9:30 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. At 8:50 a.m. local time, National Weather Service radar was tracking extremely intense rotation from within a thunderstorm located around 7 miles east of Jacksonville Beach, Florida, moving west-northwestward at 10 miles per hour. Visual confirmation has not been able to be made at this time due to heavy rain and strong winds making visibility near zero along the coastline. If you spot a funnel cloud, contact the National Weather Service immediately. This tornadic supercell is expected to impact coastal Duval County within the next 25 minutes. Locations impacted include, but are not limited to, Jacksonville Beach, Neptune Beach, Atlantic Beach, and Ponte Vedra Beach. For your protection, move to the lowest floor of an interior building, and remain away from windows. Repeating, a tornado warning has been issued for extreme coastal Duval County, active immediately and until 9:30 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time.
So, we are under a tornado warning now, and this is not looking good. I had Chris head down the road to go see what was going on, just waiting for the go-ahead to patch him in. There he is now, Chris. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, James. It's not looking good out here.
Can you explain to the viewers what you're seeing?
Well, James, I'm not really seeing that much, to be honest with you. The spray from the wind is making it extremely misty out. Wait, what the hell is that?
Chris, are you okay?
I just felt the pressure change here, and out on the water, I think I see a funnel.
Oh my God, Chris, get back to the van and get back to the station right now. If you can, call in a report to the National Weather Service office as well.
You got it, James. I'll be there shortly.
I'm sorry, folks, I have to make sure Chris will be all right. I will be back on air in a few minutes. Get ready, folks, we're going to be in for one hell of a ride.
This is a tornado emergency for the eastern Jacksonville metro area. At 9:07 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time, trained ground spotters confirmed the existence of a large cone-shaped tornado from within a rain-wrapped supercell over the Atlantic Ocean. As of 9:05 a.m., this tornadic supercell was located around 3 miles to the southeast of Ponte Vedra Beach, moving north-northwestward at 15 miles per hour. The waterspout contained within this tornadic supercell is expected to make landfall within the next 5 minutes in between Ponte Vedra Beach and Jacksonville Beach. Other locations impacted include, but are not limited to, Neptune Beach and Atlantic Beach. All residents within 1 mile of the Atlantic coastline in these areas are being urged to shelter in place immediately. In addition to a confirmed tornado, large hail and extremely heavy rainfall is occurring with this storm, making visibility near zero. This is an extremely dangerous and life-threatening situation. If you cannot get underground, go to a storm shelter or an interior room of a sturdy building now. Take cover now in a storm shelter or an interior room of a sturdy building. Stay away from doors and windows. Repeating, a tornado emergency has been issued for the eastern Jacksonville metro area. Take shelter now.
It looks like the rotation is on the beaches now. I really hope everyone is inside.
James, we gotta get out of this studio now. The tornado's wind field is blowing shit around up here already. It's not safe to continue.
But Chris, I want the people to stay informed on what's going on out there.
You've done more than enough, James. It's time to think about your life now. Come on, let's get downstairs.
You're right. I'm sorry, folks, but we have to take shelter. Our studio is on the 3rd floor. It's not safe up here. We will be back on air as soon as possible. Please stay safe. Hello, folks. We are back after that incredibly terrifying near miss with a waterspout turned tornado. As of now, the National Weather Service has lifted the tornado emergency, and the tornado warning is expiring any minute now. Over the last 5 minutes, rotation imagery was returning low values in the area where the tornado once was, and overall the storm has lost a lot of its structure. Unfortunately, though, a tornado did spawn from this exceptionally strong ocean thunderstorm. Usually when waterspouts occur in Florida, it is actually due to ocean heating. This means that often the rotating winds actually start from the bottom near the surface of the water and meet with the cloud base as the funnel rises. These are called fair weather waterspouts, and I think it's safe to say what just occurred was not one of those waterspouts. Rather, a tornadic supercell just happened to form over water, producing a funnel that met with water instead of land. This is somewhat rare but not unheard of. As of now, we have received reports of a few minor injuries along Highway A1A, which is a major road along the beaches of Jacksonville. Thankfully, we have not heard of any fatalities or major damage to any critical infrastructure. However, many of the communities along the immediate coastline are experiencing power outages, and a few residents have reported coastal flooding. We will continue to keep you updated as we learn more.
The following message is being transmitted at the request of civil authorities within the city of Jacksonville, Florida. A local area emergency has been issued for the beaches region of Jacksonville, active immediately and until further notice. At around 9:15 a.m. local time, a powerful waterspout managed to come ashore in between Ponte Vedra Beach and Jacksonville Beach. Information on damages and the current path length of this tornado are unknown, as the National Weather Service has not begun conducting their damage survey as of this time. Multiple of eastern Jacksonville's beaches received heavy damage, including Ponte Vedra, Atlantic, Neptune, and Jacksonville beaches. Over the past hour, numerous reports have come in from concerned citizens about the structural integrity of Highway A1A. This coastal road runs northward through much of the extreme coastal regions of the First Coast. Reports have come in from around the Atlantic beach area that significant erosion has occurred as a result of this morning's storm. Some parts of A1A have been rendered completely impassable for the time being due to debris and floodwaters. Residents in the Jacksonville area are being asked to remain away from A1A until at least this evening. Thank you for your cooperation. It is greatly appreciated. For more information on local events, tune into your local news station now.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is James Bold, lead meteorologist and news anchor for First Coast Weather and News. All eyes are on the coastline right now as recovery efforts have begun in the wake of an exceptionally rare waterspout-turned tornado in our neck of the woods.
It was quite a sight to see. Thankfully, no deaths have been reported as of this time. However, 2 individuals, a middle-aged mom and her son, were found injured alongside Highway A1A. In fact, A1A seems to be the epicenter of injuries and damage from this storm, as many people were on their morning commute.
That's right, Chris. As of now, there have been upwards of 50 injuries reported as a result of the tornado. But other than the aforementioned mother-son pair, all injuries have been minor so far. Most of the injuries occurred due to flying debris and shattered glass that was flung by the waterspout.
As of now, the National Weather Service in Jacksonville is surveying the damage in coastal Duval. In a statement on their official Twitter page, one of the head meteorologists claims that they were shocked at how quickly this morning's supercell intensified. While there is no official rating yet, the National Weather Service seems to be indicating EF1 or EF2 intensity in their preliminary ground report.
If anything, this morning just goes to show you always need to be weather aware. The forecast for today called for the more intense thunderstorms to occur later in the day, but so far it's actually been very quiet after this morning. A few rumbles of thunder and rain, but nothing like we saw earlier. It also goes to show that nobody, not even the National Weather Service, can predict the weather fully. That is why it is important that you keep an eye on conditions in your area on days where severe weather is expected. This is no disrespect to the National Weather Service, but they can't be everywhere at once, you know?
At the end of the day, having a basic grasp on reading radar imagery and the threats thunderstorms can produce can go a long way for your safety.
That's right, Chris. You can never be too weather aware. Thank you for joining us today for our coverage of today's severe weather threat on the First Coast. We will continue to be on the air throughout the evening hours as more storms continue to move into our area.
Hey y'all, it's Ace from EAS here, and I know I usually don't pop in at the end of videos like this, but real quick I wanted to talk about what inspired this scenario. So the idea for this scenario actually came from a real-life thunderstorm that hit Nassau County on April 13th, 2023. On radar there was some rotation indicated, but there was no tornado warning issued and no tornado was ever actually reported. Obviously I had to use a little bit of EAS magic on the initial event to make it into a proper story for this channel. But I did cover this storm and others from around the Florida area on my meteorology channel, Southbound. I know I've made a few channels over the years and talked about them on here. It can be a bit confusing, but honestly, I just like dividing up my work. I enjoy this just being an EAS channel, because I know that's why most of y'all are here. Obviously, there is a lot of overlap between fans of the weather and fans of the emergency alert system, but I still just like having separate channels for different styles of content. So yeah, this is a little bit of a shameless plug, but if you're interested in learning more about the weather, check out Southbound. I've been posting videos about recent severe weather events, but I've also been working in the background on writing and making mini documentary style videos on other significant severe weather events. Now if that sounds interesting to you, I'll see you there. If not, I still plan on making EAS scenarios here, but I will say posting on Southbound and other YouTube channels was part of what made me post less on here throughout 2022, along with just general computer and social burnout, because you have to understand, from 2020 to like late 2021, all I was doing because of the pandemic was sitting here at this computer. So most of the things I used to enjoy doing on my PC, playing video games, socializing with people, and making new friends and talking to my friends, making videos and scenarios, all of it just started to get really tiring. I don't want to blame anyone else for that. It's some type of personal behavior in myself I had to and am still figuring out. So I just want to take accountability for that. I'm sorry if I was rude to anyone. It's just been a very difficult time, and I'm just trying to, begin to live a happy life again. But mental health problems aside, posting on other channels also allowed me to get a breath of fresh air from the admittedly monotonous process of making EAS scenarios. Though when I say that, I mean no disrespect to EAS scenarios or their content creators. A part of the inspiration for the scenario also came from a fellow creator by the name of Just Dante, who makes these really nice, condensed EAS mocks with radar imagery and detailed screens. It's definitely a style I could see being expanded upon for future, bigger weather scenarios. Last thing I want to address is, okay, so what am I doing with this channel? Well, I've learned that I'm not exactly great at keeping to a tight content schedule anymore. 18-year-old me somehow had a way better grasp on that than 21-year-old me. But I have been gaining back motivation to post more consistently and write more consistently in my free time, because honestly, there was just a period of burnout where I just sat around and did literally fucking nothing. But no, I'm going to be productive now. But I will say, with that increase in productivity, I have multiple channels and outlets to express my creativity, so it might not always be guided here and through the process of EAS scenarios. It might be weather videos. I might be talking about music on other channels or some shit like that. I will say, though, as a general goal, I would like to get out 2 more big scenarios at 2 different points this year on this channel, before the end of 2023. These would most likely be about 45 to 60 minutes, and one of them is probably going to be with Lou, and the other one well, that's a secret. In between, my current goal is one scenario a month. The reassurance I got back on my last video, It Came Out of the Sky, was absolutely astounding, and it really knocked the sense into me that people still enjoy my content. I know that sounds strange, I've never really gotten a ton of negative reception, like, ever, but it's just something I've always had a problem accepting mentally, that praise, for some reason. So, I just want to say that I do see it, and I do acknowledge it, I just have trouble accepting it, but that's something I want to change for y'all, and I'm going to do my damnedest to do that. So yeah, thank you for listening to me talk, and I'll be back with more scenarios in the near future, I promise. Please stay safe out there, everyone, and I hope to see you next time.